everyone, I'm Ben.
And I'm Sam.
And this is Counterfeit Christianity. We're going to talk about being prepared for the struggle ahead and what that means to us now. Because we've both grown around that idea quite a bit, actually. But that's why we want to talk about it. I know we've mentioned it here before about us being preppers in the past. And,
somewhat, not like super crazy.
No, not super crazy.
Not,
but
not
like,
American style preppers like on the TV or anything, but you buy a few extra,
this and that
things of diesel and you store up some extra food and
whatever.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I had in my house in Thailand, I have still a tunnel out the back. So I dug a tunnel under the house out the back.
That is so cool. I'm so jealous. He made an escape tunnel in his house that you could access in the house and get outside under the yard.
It's about 20 or 30 meters out into the bamboo. And
Thailand's full of poisonous snakes, right?
There are snakes in there.
Did you find snakes in there?
Yeah, there's snakes in there a couple of times.
Like cobras and stuff?
No. It was like a rainbow-looking thing once, and I don't know what it was, but I'm sure it's venomous.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, even green tree snakes are venomous there. So, but like,
really?
My idea was like, and there was like, you drop into it, and you can bolt it all shut from underneath, and there's like a little room you can hide in under there, and then there's a tunnel. Cool. And so you could sit in there for like a day if you had to.
If you do that in Australia, the council would come and beat you up.
If they knew about it. Yeah. I don't have one.
Some Karen lady next door would probably tell them though.
Yeah.
Some Ishtar lady.
a dirty ish. Yeah. She's just an ish. If you guys can start using that term if you like. We'll just call them ishes from now on.
Yeah. If you haven't watched all our videos, an ish would be a daughter of Ishtar, or a simp of Ishtar, a son of Ishtar.
Yeah.
The ones that follow the gods of this world that don't realise it. Watch our series on the ancient gods and you'll understand what we're talking
and
about.
Another thing, if you make sure you subscribe, you like, and if you share, you'll be given a bigger mansion in heaven. We ask God.
In fact, if you don't like and subscribe, you're probably going to go to hell.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to burn.
I'm becoming a church now. I'm telling you about how you're going to hell if you don't do something in my interest. Obviously, we're kidding.
But do like, subscribe, and share if you like it.
Or you really will go to hell.
Yeah,
I will put you there.
Yeah. Well, no, our God will. He's going to punish them.
Sorry.
Obviously, we're joking, but yeah, do it. Do it, or you go to hell.
Most Christians would be too scared to even joke about that. They're like, God's going to smite me. It's like, I don't think he will. Like, I'm sure he's considered it. I'm a bit of a pain in the ass.
Yes.
But
it's like the world would be more simple with that.
God's love is bigger than the pain of the ass. Pain in the ass that I am.
Yes. Yeah. So, no, that's pretty cool. So yeah, we're just joking, but still, it does help us if you like and subscribe and all that sort of good stuff. But
and more people can be offended by our irreverent truth telling.
Yeah. So today, we've already mentioned most of it, but being prepared for the struggle ahead, because we do believe that nothing's changed in the world. It's actually obviously getting worse.
The last 5 years or so, I've started to feel like this need.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's something I'm picking up on maybe, or whether it's just fear.
Yeah.
But so far, it's mainly been a waste of money and time.
Yeah. Well,
so it's probably just fear.
We should talk about the difference there, because it's like previously all these preparations that we've made. In my position where I was, I understand now that it was because I was scared and I wanted to be, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do this. And so I was making a lot of preparations in multiple different places, and that was fear.
Being prepared to protect your family isn't a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Well, so I guess the real crux of it is coming down to the condition of your heart.
Yeah.
Because we're believers. We believe in God, and He cares about the condition of your heart, why you feel something, what you're feeling. That's the difference.
Yeah, so it's
but
not
the actions themselves aren't it.
And God might lead you into that.
So I guess what I've been transitioning to the last couple of years is trying to understand that I don't put my security in that anymore. I don't put my heart into that. I actually put my heart and my security into God and know that He will look after me.
Yeah.
The right things will happen at the right time.
Yep.
Like, I don't have to sit in fear and sit there worried, surrounded by tinned food. You know?
It's like
I can know that God's got my back.
Well, you'll find a lot of prepping channels on YouTube, and they're like, you better have this, and if you don't have this, you're in trouble. If you don't have this, you're in trouble.
They're all fear-driven.
It's all fear.
I've seen a few of them, and I don't know how they manage to get people keep watching, because every day the world ends.
Yeah.
The world is ending today.
You better
get
buy
the
this
water.
bag.
They're going to go to war. The nukes are going to land tonight. And then you watch this channel again, and it does the same thing the next day. It just rewords it slightly.
But we're not saying that ain't going to happen.
And then you kind of get bored of that channel, and then maybe a year later, you're like, let's go again. You're like, he still says the world's ending tonight. Well, how has he got 10 million subscribers?
Yeah, it is interesting, right? But I really liked back in the day with the Doomsday Preppers show.
That's how we get 10 million subscribers, Ben.
Yeah.
Just make you afraid.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
continue.
Well, that's what the church does. So yeah, I got into that by doomsday prepping that show. It was fun. I loved it. It was super cool watching how different people did it.
It is cool,
Yeah.
like on like a sort of project side. It's like when
on the
you're a
project
kid and
side.
you make a cubby house or something,
That's
right?
exactly it.
When you're a bigger kid, i.e. an adult, you make better cubby houses.
Yeah, and you actually have some money to spend on it. But it's like, we're not saying that these bad things in the world aren't going to happen. We actually think it is going to happen. We can see the world and what's happening.
But what matters for us, or what matters to God, and so then matters to us, is where we're putting our heart. And before, I think God's like, oh, really? You're putting your heart into that? I'm right here. You're really putting your trust in some canned food?
Yeah.
I'm the living God. I'm over here.
Yep.
And then He's patient enough to let you figure that out.
Yeah.
And now I'm putting my heart there, and I'm not living in fear or worry. I wake up and see all the doomsday, and I don't care. God specifically says, there's a heap of stuff coming. Don't be troubled.
Yeah, and
do not be troubled.
Fear. What does it say? Don't fear 365 times in the Bible.
Is it actually 365?
Yeah.
Oh, one for every day.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a few times, and I specifically looked it up. It's 365. That's pretty cool. But yeah, but like that's pretty much where we've come to, and I think we're on the same page. But like I've come to the understanding of like the way that I am to be prepared in this is to be with God.
Yeah.
And everything else flows out of that. So if He wants us to,
that's a real life, right?
Yeah.
If you hang with God, then you're going to win.
And if He wants us to have or be anything for what's coming, you don't have to plan that. He will give it to you. And I found that it comes through your desires, what you want in life, because God wants you to have it.
God wants us to be happy.
Yeah.
The church, like in the last video we just did, we were talking about how the church always tries to convince you that God wants you to be upset or self-flagellating or concerned, and that's sacrifice.
Yeah.
But God doesn't want you to be that way. It says that He wants us to live and live in an abundance of life. I didn't come to what's that old verse? Came to give you life and life in abundance.
Yeah.
I didn't give you a spirit of fear.
Yeah. And like the way that I see it, this is a really interesting part that I have, because I've been always interested in like hunting and guns and that side of life. I really, really enjoy it. But so when I came to Australia, I'm like, God, I want to be able to hunt. And like we live in Brisbane, so we don't know anyone with farms and stuff like that. And so
you can have an AK-47 in Thailand, right?
Yeah, you can't, but you can have it's easier access to like some of the guns you can't have here.
Oh, yeah.
But but
so you didn't have any AKs? Oh.
No. I would have had one if I could have, but I didn't. But I wanted to hunt, and I told God specifically, I'm talking about desires here, and then He's given me, or even us now, like He's given us this great place that we can go and hunt with a great family who are on the way, who He wants us to have a relationship with. So God lines it up perfectly in every way. I want to hunt, I love camping, I love all this sort of stuff, and God's like lining it all up.
It sort of actually goes back to our last video again, where we talked about, if your child asks you for a fish or an egg, you don't give them a scorpion or a snake, right? Yeah. And then Ben's like, hey God, I like hunting, I want to do this stuff. And God's like, all right, let's do it. Because God wants you to live. He put you on here to enjoy life.
And those desires come from Him.
And the religious institutions, the people, the nefs, the powers that be in this world, they want you to live in hell. They don't want you to live. They want you to be unhappy all the time and burdened and afraid. Whereas God wants you to be happy and alive, and enjoying yourself and enjoying other people. Because ultimately the world is full of people and it's full of things. Now, if you had no people and you had all the things, how long would you last? A week before you unalived yourself? Yeah. You need other people. People are what matter. God put us on earth to interact with other people. You could have all the Lamborghinis in the world, and there's no people around, and you would not be a happy person.
Yeah. That's why the preparing with God, by being prepping for the struggle ahead, it's not trying to figure it out on your own. It's just be with God, and He'll flow
with God
everything
He's a person
into you. Yeah.
You're a person, and He's a person.
Yeah. Everything. He'll give you everything that your heart desires. Not only that, but everything that you need for the struggle ahead. And that may be.
People
who knows
think
what that means?
They're taught by the church that to want something is wrong.
Yeah.
But to want something and then deny yourself is right.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And that becomes sacrifice. And that actually takes you away from accepting God's mercy, because then you've done it yourself.
Yep.
It's not about that Jesus died on the cross for me. It's, oh no, I made that sacrifice. I went 6 hours without eating any bread. I fasted today. I'm so righteous.
I whipped myself.
I prayed for 4 hours. How long did you pray for? 3 hours. Mate, you're going to hell.
Your mansion's going to be... Oh, I didn't subscribe to counterfeit
You're not
Christianity.
even getting a wine room.
Not even. No.
In your heavenly mansion.
And they'll have spas and
where
stuff.
money doesn't actually exist and scarcity doesn't exist either. But, you know, do what we say.
You got to build up the gold, right?
Well, you have a gold letterbox if you do what we say.
That's right.
Otherwise, you get like a simp letterbox, and everyone knows that you were poor.
Yeah, or it's just a pile of shit.
You didn't
with a
give any
hole in it.
pastors your money, so you're not cool.
Yeah.
This is pass to heaven.
Yeah. Well, it's a simple conversation, really, but it's like it's very deep at the same time. Like, if you want, it's sort of the opposite of what the church teaches you. The church teaches you to strive in the way of the world, and then store up your stuff so that you can say that you're blessed, but you're actually not. You just stole it from somebody.
Yeah, right.
But with God, He gives you the desires of your heart because you're just with Him, and it's like He gives you a great woman. He gives you a great family.
Exactly what we said before. It's like, you're my son, you're hungry, here, have a fish.
Yep.
You know?
And you know how we all have these things that we really, like, we can almost see a picture of what our future could look like, right? We have these dreams and desires inside of us. I do, and I know that you do. Like, we have these things that we want of life, and the world tells you, strive, do whatever it takes to get there. Fight for it, scrap for it, and then you'll get it. And you probably will. But then with God, He'll do the exact same thing, but you get to just be with Him, and everything will flow out of that. Which one's
the thing
better?
with the world is the world also betrays you.
Yeah.
The world pretends to give you what you want, but actually its goal is to destroy you.
Yeah.
Whereas God has your good in mind, and He doesn't want to destroy you.
Yeah.
And sometimes God can be more difficult because He's telling you the truth to get you past the problem, whereas the world is actively trying to tell you to be the problem, or to have a problem that you burden yourself with that you don't need to.
Yeah, and the problem in the world is the other humans, because then you want stuff.
Jesus said it specifically. He said to the Pharisees, you know, you put burdens on other people and don't lift a finger to help them. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what the church does to everyone these days. Whereas God's like,
Nothing new.
He who the sun sets free is free indeed. You know, if I have saved you, who can snatch you from my hand?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But you know, the church will only use those verses in a context that's favourable to their goals.
Yeah, and just pulling the Bible apart, using it as a weapon.
Jesus has said those things to make people be free, and you know they don't want people to be free because that would undermine their power.
Yep. So I still enjoy being prepared, right? But
to a degree.
Yeah,
but
it's different.
My
side
heart
of prepared.
isn't in it. That's what matters, because God cares about what my heart is.
Yeah.
He's like, He's jealous.
Yeah.
He says, I'm a jealous God, and He's like, wow, okay, I do all this stuff for you, and you've seen the things that I can do. You've seen me like I remember when God healed that guy who couldn't walk in Fiji when like 10 years ago. He's like, you've seen me do that. You've seen me do all this amazing stuff, and then like what? You're looking at that canned food over there. It makes you feel better. Yeah, okay then, fine. I'm just a living God. I just did all this stuff for you, but fine.
Yeah.
Worship the food, like. Geez.
Yeah, we give up God for something
Sam.
very big, don't
like,
we? So it's not. It's like a bit of this small little thing.
I guess that means, you know, that means you need to grow in your faith.
Yeah.
Like you need to grow up and go, well, I actually, and that's I guess where God has led us. You know, because it's not that He wants to get mad at you; it's that He loves you.
Yeah.
And He wants you to trust Him instead of trusting something else.
Yep.
And so that's really the journey, and you have to really do it in a genuine way.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it in a genuine way is to really even embrace the other side of it and go, all right, so yeah, I love canned food. Oh wait, I think I've gotten past it now. Okay,
Yeah, and it
I
comes to your
understand.
intentions again. We talked about
because
that. What's underneath.
Yeah, you go and you get in
into
that and you go, oh, I was just afraid, and you take away the fear and you're like, oh, it's just metal with vegetables and lots of salt.
Yeah,
like,
we're trying to remember the book that we were talking about this, but like
about
it's
being
called
a protector.
Yeah, about
the different
internal family systems and different parts.
And the different parts of you.
The book's called "You Are the One You've Been Waiting For," and it's a really good book. But it's like, yeah, so you like talking about that, digging into yourself and understanding where things and feelings are coming from, what's happening inside.
Well, lots of people have heard the idea of like having an inner child or something.
Yeah.
You know, like that book sort of expands on that, right?
Massively, yeah.
Like because
so we have exiles.
There's the exile,
protector.
The protector. This is like the persons of you inside you that have different personalities or have been created from trauma or something.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I haven't read the book, but I've been listening to Ben talk about it. And I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So you have your true self, who is you. I like to describe it as your heart with God, and so that is me. And then you have all these things that happen in your life where you have trauma in your life, and then it creates exiles like a little child, and it could have been from whatever happened. Everyone has it, and then you have a protector that would step in front, and that's what you show to the world, basically. And so you want to get those protectors, and there's protectors for different things in your life too. So it's not just one.
You can tell sometimes that you're talking to someone and they might clam up, or they start reacting, or you're really upset, they triggered. And that's like triggering one of their protectors, I guess. Because you've touched a sensitive topic for them.
And then the protector comes and does it again. Like you could be talking via the heart.
Sometimes you got to be really really patient with people like that, because people have been patient with me, because if my protector jumps in front, maybe it's quite aggressive, or you get a defensive reaction. You have to sort of just be patient with that person and go, oh, they're hurting there.
Yeah. Well, my protector was. One of my friends asked me this. He's like, well, can you describe your protector or this protector in this situation? I said, yeah, it's like one of David's mighty men, where he could go out and kill 1,000 Philistines with his bare hands. That's my protector. And so if that comes out, obviously he's going to destroy shit, right? He's going to wreck relationships and smash up stuff. So
you got to hold him back.
Yeah, or not hold him back. You got to talk to them and say, thanks very much for I appreciate you protecting me.
I guess,
but can you move back and let me come out? I can deal with this.
I guess the feeling or the overall end result would be that the protector, if you grow and you heal, the protector would just merge back into you.
Yeah. And he'll become part of you.
Yeah.
So and those exiles, they'll come and be... You don't
lose him, but his need to become a separate personality.
He becomes
within
meek.
you.
Yeah, we talked about meek.
Actually just returns back to... Or this part of you that's come out as a shield goes, oh, I don't have to live in fear anymore. I can return back to where I was.
And this guy who wrote the book, he's not a follower of Jesus.
That's how you become whole again.
Right. So he's not a follower of Jesus. So with God, this healing is way more quick and way more powerful.
Well, he's just observing a phenomenon that he didn't make.
Right.
So God would know better.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I've been doing. I've been like, I notice the hard part is recognizing when it comes out, because you're so used to it. And so when the protector comes out and starts, so that's what I've been doing. It came out again. Like I'm like, God, I want to live from my heart. I don't want to live from these other things. I want to give my heart to people. You don't
want people to be able to provoke you.
Right.
Because I can have a bad temper and a short temper. If you threaten me or threaten someone I care about, my protector comes out and he's quite scary.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to come out because he causes a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Collateral damage. So you don't want him, you don't want to allow people to provoke that out of you, because then they can use it against you. Because we do expect more struggles to come and them to be similar to the struggles we've already faced.
Yeah.
But we have to grow each time so that we respond to it better.
Yeah.
Like in a corporate environment, for example, people were good at provoking me and making me look bad, but they're not anymore.
Yeah.
Because I just smile and go, I see what you're doing. And I'm just going to go be awesome and look awesome. And then you can keep trying to provoke me until it becomes obvious and everyone's going to see it. And I'm just still going to be awesome and everyone's going to look at you like the piece of garbage that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we can just like, instead of us having to be prepared, as we're going to be prepared for the world, we just go with God.
And I often have to remind myself, God will deal with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to fight that person. So Ignore that person. They're literally trying to make you stop and fight so that you slow down and waste all your fuel. Like, I don't know, if you use like fighter planes or something as an analogy, like they've only got a limited amount of fuel. And if you can fight, like if they're on the way to their target and you can dogfight them and make them run out of fuel, they're going to drop their weapons.
And that'll happen to us as well if we're struggling.
They don't get to achieve their objective.
Yeah.
So, if we allow that same thing to happen to us and we get distracted by every single one, we never get anywhere in life. And that's exactly what's been happening to me through my life, is I let those battles slow me down. I'm going light speed and this thing comes and it provokes me and I slow down to fight it. And I'm supposed to be going over here, but I'm too busy over here doing a fight.
That's how the world smashes men with God too.
So I have to learn to trust in God and zoom past.
Yeah.
And then I can look in the rearview mirror and some heavenly missile came and destroyed them anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. You sit by the river long enough and your enemies will float by.
That's a great saying.
I love it.
I just like the idea of sitting by the river.
Yeah. We just chill with God. That's the answer. So it's the same idea as being prepared with like struggles with other people in our life, but also with struggles of the world. Like we've got this looming doom around us at the world at the moment, it feels like, right? For so many different reasons. But like we could get sucked into it and be like, oh, the Ukraine war, oh, this and that.
And then you live in fear, and you also live in fear while the TV tells you it's going to be okay. And then you become one of their pawns. You might even get used to go fight and kill people. Out of that fear, which is happening in places like Europe. Yeah, a lot of Americans going over there to murder other human beings for demons. If you're going over there, if you're going to fight, and if you're not being forced into it by your government, then you're being used for evil. It's such a big tragedy. I actually think that, because we obviously believe that there are forces of darkness, fallen angels in the world, that are influencing world events. And I believe that they like mass chaos and mass death. It's like some sort of sick giant sacrifice for them or something. You know, that war over there is something they revel in.
Yeah, they probably know they've lost. Like, that's the truth of Christianity that we know. They know they've lost. They're just trying to make as much trouble as they can.
Well, I mean, and by context of lost, he means to God.
Yeah, they've lost.
Because God's already won that spiritual battle. So their objective now is
to make hell for us.
How can I hurt God? And the only way to hurt God is to hurt the people that he loves. So let's get America to start a war with Ukraine, and we'll have 400,000 people die in the meat grinder.
Create hell.
A worthless war.
Yeah. So we've got this big shitstorm around us, and on multiple different levels, and we even have it in ourselves, like where we're trying to find the different parts of us and heal ourselves with God. But the only way out the only way to be prepared, in our opinion, is to be with God. Yeah. So how do you prepare for the struggle? Be with God.
Yeah.
Be with the true living God, not one of the other gods.
Just be close to God and he'll look after you. That's how it works.
Flow. Start that.
Because, you know, whatever you try and do yourself will really end up being rags.
I love the question, what's next? So if you want to figure out a good question to ask God, ask him, what's next? Yeah, it's great. You can do that every single time you come up against something. And you should be asking it a lot, actually. Don't say what's next and then live by that, but say what's next all the time.
What's next?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what cool thing is happening?
Yeah. And he'll point out so many different things, and it'll give you the next step continuously. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do.